Did I get Mom's ticket? Of course not.
I was trying to check in at the airport, but my ticket wasn't issued. My daughter-in-law had handled the tickets this time, so when my son checked with her, the response was unbelievable. My only son was getting married in Hawaii, and I was so excited heading to the airport, but I never expected this kind of treatment. Ever since my son first brought her home, my daughter-in-law's attitude toward me had been prickly. I tried not to let it bother me, but this was too much.
I thought she hated me and wouldn't want to come.
She said it so casually.
What are you talking about? She's my mother. Of course, she's coming.
My son's voice grew harsh.
Don't raise your voice. I'm feeling sleepy because of jet lag.
My daughter-in-law, who had arrived earlier, replied nonchalantly. I couldn't stand it anymore and asked my son to hand me the phone. Hello, what's going on?
Oh, Angie? Like I said earlier, but did you plan on attending our wedding? Seriously, you're such a carefree freeloader. It's hilarious how shameless you are.
I could picture Julie smirking smugly on the other end of the phone.
If you want to come, why don't you swim over? And of course, there's no hotel room for you, so you'll probably have to sleep outside.
Ha! With all the family and relatives there, I'm the only one not invited to the wedding. Even I had reached my limit with this. It seems Julie doesn't understand her position. I see, got it. It looks like I need to teach Julie a lesson about the harsh realities of life. My name is Angie Dickinson. I'm a 55-year-old housewife. Since I'm good with my hands, my hobbies include gardening and handicrafts at home. I'm good at embroidery and knitting, and sometimes I even hold small classes at home when people ask me to teach them. Recently, I've also gotten into baking, and my family raves about my cream puffs and chiffon cakes. I've lived a modest life, finding my own joys. But I used to be quite the career woman back in the day. After graduating from a local university, I was fortunate enough to land a job at a major construction company. My meticulous work and efficiency earned me a good reputation, and after 2 years in HR, I became an executive secretary. Back then, my husband, Arthur, who is 3 years older than me, worked in the design department of the same company. We interacted frequently because of my role in passing on information from the executives, and I developed a liking for Arthur's diligent work ethic and high aspirations. Arthur seemed to feel the same way about me, and our relationship quickly deepened after a company trip where we were seated next to each other on the bus. Arthur said I was like out of his league. I did get invited to meals by many men, but none of them really caught my interest. I thought Arthur already had a girlfriend since he was quite popular among the female employees. No, not at all. If you don't mind, would you like to hang out sometime? He asked, inviting me out. As we talked, we discovered we both enjoyed action movies and hiking, which helped us grow closer.
I'm thinking about going here next time.
Arthur would decide our next destination, and I would research and prepare for the trip. No matter how tough the trail was, the breathtaking view at the top always moved me. We climbed many mountains across the country together. Just like our hiking, our relationship progressed smoothly, leading to our marriage. After getting married, I loved my job so much that I was torn about continuing it, but after discussing with Arthur, I decided to focus on our home. A year after our wedding, our son, Ryan, was born. I manage household chores and childcare perfectly, and also advised Arthur on his work. Arthur said that talking to me sparked his work imagination. Being able to support Arthur in this way was my joy. People around us praised my role as a supportive wife, and Arthur's career thrived without neglecting our family. Despite his busy schedule, Arthur made time for family and took us on trips. He often played with Ryan, too. Growing up seeing his hard-working and family-oriented father, Ryan respected Arthur and aimed to be like him, eventually attending a good university and joining the same company as his father. Ryan, who is eager to become independent and is absorbed in his work, is just like his father in his younger days. Ryan has now turned 30 and is at an age where he is thinking about marriage. He's kind but somewhat shy with women, and I've hardly ever heard any frivolous stories about him. Just when I was starting to worry as a parent, it turns out a daughter of one of my husband's acquaintances took a liking to Ryan, and they started dating.
She's a woman working in the office at one of our clients. We haven't been dating long, but we're both at that age.
Ryan, who believes in dating with the intention of marriage, is serious like his father. I was surprised to hear this, but as a parent, I was happy that Ryan had found someone. So they decided to get married, and he was going to introduce her to us. Apparently, she's the daughter of a company president and got her job through her parents' connections, working in accounting. How old is she? What's her personality like? How does she look? How did they meet? I held back my curiosity and awaited the day. I had been preparing food since last night. I even washed the curtains in the living room. I watered the flowers at the entrance. I wonder what kind of person Ryan's future wife is. Seeing me fidgeting since morning, my husband smiled gently.
I'm meeting her for the first time too, but I know her father well from work. He said to take care of his daughter. He did mention she's a bit of a spitfire, but since Ryan is quiet, a lively partner might be just right for him.
Yes, it would be nice if she could take the lead and bring out the best in Ryan. As we imagined different scenarios together. Ding dong. The doorbell rang.
Hello, I'm Julie Bowen.
Julie greeted us cheerfully. She had a modern look with stylish makeup. Her long, brown-dyed hair swayed as she wore a slightly short dress and carried an expensive-looking designer bag slung over her shoulder, with Ryan holding her luggage. Well, welcome, beautiful young lady. It must have been a long trip for you, right?
Come in quickly and make yourself comfortable.
Both my husband and I were overjoyed.
Dad, Mom, thanks for the welcome.
Ryan looked a little embarrassed. Julie gave a greeting behind and entered the house. My husband and Ryan carried the luggage into the living room first. I approached Julie, who was taking off her shoes at the entrance, to speak to her. Julie, today.
You're too forward.
Julie muttered under her breath. I was taken aback.
Angie, you're a stay-at-home mom, right? Just a lazy bum leeching off the house. My shoes are expensive, so make sure to put them together properly. Ugh. So annoying.
She said this while kicking off her shoes carelessly and walking away, rudely cutting me off. What a rude thing to say. I was annoyed by Julie's disrespectful words, but in front of Arthur and Ryan, she was bright and charming.
When Ryan first came to our company for work, I fell in love at first sight and made a move. His looks are totally my type, and he's so kind, truly the best husband.
Seeing her talk so boldly, Ryan scratched his head shyly. It seems that Julie was the one who aggressively pursued the relationship. I didn't like Julie's attitude earlier, but since Ryan seemed to care for her, I thought maybe she was just nervous and decided to let it go. Moreover, my husband seemed very happy, saying, "He's a bit unreliable, but please take care of him," and drank more than usual, becoming very talkative.
Dad, don't treat me like a kid forever.
Ryan, also drinking, had a flushed face.
Oh, sorry.
My husband laughed in high spirits. The meeting proceeded harmoniously, with Arthur and Ryan looking satisfied. Afterward, Arthur hurriedly offered Julie some macarons as dessert.
Wow, this is delicious. Where did you buy them?
Taking a bite, Julie's eyes widened in surprise.
My mom made them.
Ryan answered, happily munching on his favorite macarons.
Oh, really?
Julie's tone suddenly dropped.
Since you have plenty of free time, it's only natural you can make something like this.
She showed no further interest.
By the way, the sweets I had at the Beverly Hills Hotel recently were exquisite. I want to go there with you, Ryan.
Okay. Let's go together.
Ryan hastily tried to please this demanding girl, but a sense of unease grew within me. Julie then made a bold request.
By the way, I prefer meat to fish, so from now on, please make meat dishes.
She didn't bother to clear the dishes or even say thank you. Does she think I'm just a servant? With her high pride and condescending attitude towards me as a stay-at-home mom, I wondered if I could get along with her. Will I be able to get along with this girl? My head felt heavy all of a sudden. What does Ryan see in her that he wants to marry her? Well, there must be something good about her. After they left, I was left with a feeling of unease. I shook my head to dispel my feelings. Despite my discomfort with Julie's attitude and my doubts about the marriage, I decided to trust Ryan's choice. Ryan continued to bring Julie over for meals.
Meat again. I'm tired of it. I want fish. And could you make the seasoning a bit lighter?
Julie had no hesitation in complaining about the food, even though she had insisted on having meat. She only ate and never showed any sign of helping out. One time she said, "Angie, you're good at sewing, right? I hate this patchwork, it looks so tacky. Can you hem these pants for me? And do my friends too?" She shamelessly pushed her tasks onto me. I thought I should try to get along with her, so I reached out. "Julie, how about we cook together next time?" Her response was immediate.
Don't joke around. Why should I have to cook? If you're trying to boss me around, I'll tell my dad.
Julie snapped back, still as arrogant as ever. However, Ryan began to notice her behavior.
Julie, you shouldn't talk to Mom like that.
Ryan tried to correct her.
What? I'm the one being mistreated here. It's awful. Ryan, you always side with your mom.
She turned away, pouting. Another time, she declared in front of Arthur, "Even if we get married, there's no way I'm living with you. Take care of yourselves. I can't handle taking care of old people." She was rude even to my husband, so I gently admonished her. "We're not planning on living together, but you don't have to be so distant."
Married or not, we're still strangers. Don't rely on us.
Julie cut me off sharply. Ryan tried to mediate, but she always had an excuse, ultimately threatening to tell her dad. I whispered to Ryan to avoid getting involved, as it would only complicate things. I worried that if Julie and I didn't get along, it would make things hard for Ryan. I was exhausted by Julie's arrogant attitude, but I endured it. Despite this, the wedding plans moved forward, and the day for both families to meet arrived.
Please be nice to our naive daughter.
Julie's father, who was deeply tanned, likely from golf, laughed heartily.
Please don't be too hard on her. She's sensitive.
Julie's mother spoke in a sweet, childlike voice, despite her age. Julie's father soon started talking about business rather than the wedding. Julie and her mother requested that the bride's side handle the wedding plans, since the bride is the main focus. I agreed, thinking the wedding should be for the bride. Julie chose to have the wedding in Hawaii. She dreamed of a garden chapel with an ocean view under a clear blue sky, and strongly insisted on it. We planned a 10-day trip, inviting only close relatives. Since Ryan often worked late, Julie handled most of the preparations. "It's a once-in-a-lifetime event, so it's okay to splurge, right?" she said, choosing everything beyond the budget. That was typical of Julie. She picked a high-end hotel, a high-brand wedding dress, and even rented a limo. She was also eager to book hotels and plane tickets for the guests herself. I love Hawaii, so I was thrilled to see Ryan getting married there. I excitedly shared the news about the wedding in Hawaii with my friends. My friends all congratulated me in unison. I wondered what souvenirs I should bring back. On the day of departure, we went to the airport where Ryan, who had arrived early, was cheerfully waiting for everyone.
Thank you all for coming. Let's have a fun trip together.
Then Ryan started handing out the tickets that Julie had given him. When it was my turn, I opened the envelope with my name on it, but it was empty. My ticket was missing. I couldn't believe it. Ryan noticed my shock.
I'll ask Julie. It must be a mistake.
He quickly called Julie. Julie, who had gone ahead with her parents, answered the phone.
Hello? Oh, no mistake. I thought she wouldn't come because she hates me. So I didn't get her a ticket.
Julie said nonchalantly.
What are you talking about? She's my mother.
Ryan's voice grew tense.
Don't raise your voice. I'm tired because of jet lag.
Julie's carefree voice came through. I couldn't stand it anymore. Let me talk to Julie. Hello, it's me. What's going on?
Oh, Angie? Just like I said. Were you planning to attend our wedding? It's hilarious how shameless you are, just like a lazy bum.
I could picture Julie smirking on the other end of the line.
If you want to come, why don't you swim over? And of course, there's no hotel room for you, so you'll have to sleep outside.
Ha!
Julie laughed loudly. It's humiliating and disgraceful to be the only one not invited to the wedding with all the relatives there. I felt unbearable. Why do I have to endure this? Anger surged within me, and my body trembled with rage. I finally snapped. I want to bless Ryan's marriage, but I can't tolerate Julie's attitude. I won't go to Hawaii. I decided not to attend and told Ryan.
I'm sorry, Mom. If you're not going, then I'm not going either.
Ryan apologized with a sad expression. He called Julie again.
If you can't treat my mother well, then I can't marry you.
He spoke firmly.
What? This has nothing to do with Angie. Why are you calling it off now? I've told all my friends about the wedding, and now I'll be embarrassed. This is terrible.
Julie screamed hysterically, but Ryan hung up the phone.
I don't feel bad for Julie. She's been awful to you from the start. I knew, and yet it came to this. I'm truly sorry.
Ryan looked defeated. My usually calm husband, who had quietly watched the situation unfold, was furious at Julie's harassment towards me. My husband said he would talk to Julie's father again. A week later, I got a call from Julie.
It's all your fault. I've had it.
Her shrill voice was full of complaints.
I'm going to charge you for the cancellation fees and damages. You old hag.
She screamed and abruptly hung up. Her rude attitude hadn't changed. Another week passed, and I got another call from Julie. When I answered, she suddenly started apologizing.
Angie, I was wrong. I'm really sorry.
She repeatedly apologized in a weak, almost inaudible voice. I see. I'm glad you realized your mistake. From your perspective, a carefree freeloader like me must be annoying. I responded calmly.
No, not at all. You're wonderful.
Julie no longer had her former bravado. I smirked, realizing she finally understood her position. Now I wouldn't have to deal with that spoiled woman anymore and could return to a peaceful life. Why had Julie suddenly changed her attitude? The truth is, my husband is the president of his company. Julie's father's company relies on my husband's company for 90% of their business. Although they are clients, they are essentially subcontractors for my husband's company. Julie's father wanted to maintain strong ties with my husband's company, but Julie ruined everything. When my husband told Julie's father about her mistreatment of me, he turned pale with rage and demanded that Julie apologize immediately.
You idiot. What have you done? Apologize to Angie.
What? Ryan's dad is the president? I didn't know that.
Julie called, almost in tears. After that, my husband decided to terminate business with Julie's father's company. Her father's company was already struggling. Hoping my husband would save them, but without the business, they went bankrupt. Julie was the daughter of his mistress. She hated me because I seemed to have a happy, normal life. Julie's father was notorious for his womanizing ways, often seducing female employees and clients. Julie's mother started as his mistress and ended up raising Julie alone after getting pregnant. She worked as a hostess to make ends meet, was irresponsible with money, and neglected household duties. She always envied the legitimate wife, had no interest in her children, and was starved for love. When the legitimate wife passed away, she became the second wife, but continued to waste money, always complaining about her hardships as a mistress, never trying to improve her situation. Julie hated me because I was the opposite of her mother, loved by my husband, and living a stable life. Looks can be deceiving, though. I can't help but feel that way. Even the closest families have problems they can't talk about. I've had my share of issues too. I gave up the job I loved to support my husband. I cooked every day to ensure my husband and Ryan stayed healthy. I also made sure to maintain good relationships with my husband's relatives and Ryan's friends' moms. I lived each day with gratitude for what I had. When problems arose, I worked hard to solve them one by one, which is why we are where we are today. I wish I could teach her that happiness isn't easily attained. Afterward, Julie's father blamed her for everything that went wrong and disowned her.
I don't need a useless daughter. She's dragging me down.
In reality, Julie's father himself lacked credibility in his work. Both of them had issues as people. Julie, as the daughter of the second wife, never received much love from her father. Julie's mother didn't care much about her either. I had a hard time as a mistress. Julie, you need to handle your own problems, she said, showing no intention of helping her disowned daughter.
Both dad and mom are the worst.
Julie lost her parental support and was kicked out, now living modestly as a temp worker. Her assigned department was the customer service center. She received endless complaint calls from customers every day.
The last operator was terrible.
She must have fueled the customers' anger. Complaints about things other than the products often came, and each time her boss scolded her, making it a rather ironic job.
Julie, how many times do I have to tell you to be polite and put yourself in the customer's shoes? At this rate, it'll be hard to renew your contract next time.
I'm sorry.
Hopefully, experiencing the harshness of society will make her change her ways. Meanwhile, Ryan has sworn off dating for now and is focusing on his work. I need to improve my judgment of people first, he said, realizing there's still much to learn. He's working hard every day, being trained by my husband, who is grooming him to be the next president. And I have started a new venture by opening a cafe. Both my husband and Ryan were very supportive. Being called a carefree freeloader by Julie motivated me to start something new. I had always wanted to do this and use the money I had saved up before getting married as startup capital. The handmade coasters with my embroidery and my chiffon cakes have received rave reviews, and now a magazine wants to feature my cafe. Since I couldn't run the cafe alone, I hired a young girl as an assistant. She's sweet and charming. She sometimes crosses paths with Ryan, and there seems to be a good vibe between them. My new beginning isn't bad at all.